Hey everyone, this is a guide to using AWS S3 buckets with PHP. Now this is an end-to-end guide because I have some other videos that cover each individual part, but however I was getting a lot of questions related to some other things not related to the videos, so I figured I'd just cover everything from end to end because that's how you do things in coding, you know? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the AWS S3 bucket, we're going to set up the user and proper permissions. We're not, we'll be able to properly file upload. We're going to create a PHP form. We'll do file upload to the S3 bucket, and then from there we're going to create so that the files can be accessed privately using a database. Now, there's other ways you can upload public files as well. I'm not going to include that in this video. If there is one, I'll pin a comment to the top of the comments section for that video. So check that out as well. I also ask that you subscribe because I have weekly videos every single Wednesday, and I think you may really enjoy them. So let's get started. Jumping over to my screen, I have a couple things. I have the AWS Python setup, how to set up an AWS S3 bucket. The link's below. I have uploading an image using a form for PHP to S3. It's here as well. I have a private file, opening up a private S3 file. This is also a GIST here, and then I have my AWS console open, and at the top of this I include this particular form submission one. I include instructions on how to actually do it, how to find a library, sorry. And these are all very important because it's going to help you get started and things like that. So first we're going to start with setting up the S3 bucket, and the reason why we're going to start with that is because it's kind of the you need an S3 bucket to upload to. So, jumping over to this repository here, you can see I'm at my dashboard. I just signed in. Next instruction is open up S3 and create your first bucket. So I'm gonna hit S3. I'm gonna open that up in a new tab. So create bucket. Let's just say simple. Example PHP end to end. Oh, it's an invalid character. Expose. Okay, PHP end to end. And that's going to be the name of my bucket. I'm going to put in, I like to use US East 2, Ohio. And then that's all I need. I'm going to hit next, next again. And yes, the owner should have all permissions. And I'm going to hit create. Alright, so example end-to-end bucket is all set up. Now I have to follow the next instruction, create, and then I have it. This is just me testing uploading a file directly to the S3 bucket, so if you hit upload there, skip over that, making it public. So the next step is using the IAM. These are all found under services. Security has IAM here. And we're going to jump to the IAM management console. I'm going to go to users, and this is where we're going to add a new user. So the username is, I'm going to copy what I have and call it user dash user. This will be gone before I actually upload this video, so you have to give them programming access. Hit next. I actually want to be writing these things down. So we have this, then we have user, and we hit next, create user, and then they give you an access key ID. You need to copy this down because they don't show it to you again, and a secret. And you want to copy that too, and you want to close that. I'm going to jump back over to the instructions here. We follow all these instructions. Okay, so now that we have that set up, we need to actually use this. Grab this user ARN, copy it, and I guess paste it into a text document for now, because we're gonna have to change the permissions on the S3 bucket. Copy that. Okay, so you're gonna go to bucket policies. Copy the bucket policy. I'm actually going to copy mine right into my bucket. So under overview permissions in the bucket, bucket policies, copy and paste, grab my user here, as you can see, I have sample user, replace that with, and then I have an ARN for my bucket, and instead of this image bucket 0123, paste it in there, and I hit save. So that's that instruction. The bucket policies are all set up, and the last step for the bucket is setting up the cores, which is the cross origin. I forget what the arrow stands for, to be honest. And hit save, paste that in there. Okay, so now the bucket policy is all set up. The bucket's ready to go, but now you have to actually set up the user so that it knows that it's allowed to use that bucket. So we're going to reopen the IAM dashboard, or you can just leave it open like I did. What you're going to do is go down to inline, add inline policy, you do custom policy, select, and give it a name of some sort, and then you scroll down. I got it right here. Again, the reason why I'm just showing you I'm taking it directly from here is because there's no sense, copying and paste. There's only a point of copying and pasting it, because this doesn't change. And so you're going to give it the put permission, the get permission, and the list all my buckets permission. And you can validate it if you want, and you can apply the policy. And therefore the user and the bucket, S3 bucket, are both set up. You're ready. And so then what I give in this repository afterwards is how to upload it with Python. We're going to actually use PHP, but you can test it if you want. The code's included in the repository, and that's all we're going to need to use for this one. Next, I'm using a Mac, so I'm going to use MAMP. This is the actual S3 form portion of the end-to-end guide. So I'm using MAMP because it's Apache, Mac, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And you need a way to have a MySQL server and run PHP. So if you're on Windows, you can use WAMP, Windows, Apache, MySQL, PHP, Linux, LAMP, and so on. And so I'm going to open my MAMP. I have it running, and then in my htdocs folder I have an S3 guide folder where I'm going to put everything, and that's under applications. And so that's what I've been actually working in right here. It's in my S3 guide. And so I'm going to now need to create a file. Let's say index.php. And I don't use. And say hello world. We're just going to test out that the MAMP server is all set up. I forget the exact. Yeah, here it is. S3 guide. So hello world. I'm running well on my local environment. I'm all good. Okay, so we're gonna remove that, and then what we need to do is to actually, this is the actual upload code. What we need is the we're gonna actually need the form code. Form upload, I guess. File upload here. PHP file upload, and that's this here. Copy and paste that right in here. This all works fine for me. We'll have a file called upload, which uploads it to our S3 bucket. This is all ready. That's all good. And what we're doing is uploading to the S3 bucket. Okay, so my upload runs. Well, what we'll need to run is this. You need to have Composer installed on your computer. So what I've done is I've opened up my terminal, navigated using CD, the folder name, over to the S3 guide for my MAMP. And what you need is to run Composer require AWS-SDK-PHP. And that's the PHP library given from Amazon. You're just going to run that. It's going to run. As you're going to see in my folder here, it's going to create a composer.json file. And at some point it's going to finish. And there we go. It's going to install the necessary packages and stuff, and so this is it. And so it's going to set us up. It's going to create a log file and a vendor. And what I'll need to do, as you can see in my upload code here, is I need to reference that vendor and auto load. So what I'm first going to do is copy and paste all of this in here. And I'm actually going to reference the vendor directly, just because I'm not actually in the root. And then what I'll need to put in here is my bucket name, which is example PHP end-to-end. My IAM key, my IAM secret. Make sure you get the whole thing. Paste that in there. US East 2, which is Ohio. If you went with North Carolina, it's US East 1. You can always see this information at the top here. US East 1. I lied, mine's 1. Okay, check that out on your own. I'm pretty sure it's US East 2. And what I do here is I upload it to the bucket name into a folder called test example, and I use the file and I upload it, and then it prints out done. So let's try that out. Refresh this page. So now I should have a choose file. I press choose file, and I'm on my desktop, and I have a couple photos from my trip. Sure, let's choose this one. This is Vienna. I'm gonna hit upload. What it's gonna do is it's gonna take me to my upload.php, and then I have overview here, and it says done. So if I refresh this page, I have my test example folder as per the code that says right here, and then I hit test example, and I have my PHP. Okay, so I didn't get the folder, the image, the name right, sorry. That was a big jumble of words. I don't think it's test name. You know, yeah, so it's name. Okay, so let's try that again actually. What we'll do is hit back, and we'll delete that folder. I'm going to hit upload again. Okay, now it says done. And refresh the page. So hope it has a proper name now. Image 3, whatever. I can download it. I hit open. It's gonna be a photo of Vienna. Yep. So file upload done. Okay, so the last thing is involving actually accessing the file, and what we're gonna do is use a private link. So the idea is like this would be like a shareable link in Google Drive or something like that. And how we're going to do it is we're actually use a database, because you need to use a database to store the link, because technically this is a valid link here for your file, but it says access denied. So we're going to write some code that is going to verify that it's us, and then it's going to pull up the bodies of the file and display it, and we need to control who can see it, right? So first we're going to actually add one more step in here. With map, you have a database, and that's important because that's what we actually need. Excuse me. And what we're going to do is create a database called, S3DB, and we're create a table called files, or S3 files. And there's an ID, the path, I guess, the file name, let's say. We don't even need any of that stuff. Let's just say the path, and then the ID will work. So we only need 2 columns. I mean, you want to add probably a lot more, but you know, we'll add one more. 3 file path. Make that varchar because it's gonna be a string. Make that null. That's not gonna be null because it's gonna be an auto increment. It's gonna be the primary key. And we're gonna hit save. We're actually going to add another row, and we're going to call this and and say that's going to be a string as well. What's important about this is if you're actually going to implement this, I recommend creating a table for your files and then a table for your access code, access codes, so that if someone deletes an access code or something along those lines, you can just go back in and like you don't lose your the list of files. And there's more than you can create more than one access code for a single file, so you can give out different access codes. Not hard, just another table that stores your S3 files, and then all you have to do is reference that file code, or even you can even do it this way still. But this is meant for one person, I guess. So what we're gonna do is instead of it saying done right away, if it doesn't hit these dives, which stops the script, we're not going to do this because we don't actually need to do this. We only need one file on the upload. And you can also have it randomly generate access codes, but we're not going to do that either. We're just going to use a constant. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what we're going to do is we need to connect. And then we're on the local host. The password's root, and the password's root again, or if they're blank. This is called S3DB is the database. Die. Unable to connect. And what we're going to do here is say connection and insert into this table called S3 files, where the S3 file path is this, and the access code values will be just go with the key name. We don't even need to store this full path in S3. I don't know why we have that. Path in S3, put that in quotations, and we're going to store the access code, or die, able to save. So now when we upload, it's actually going to upload with into this database, and we're going to have information about our file. So let's try one more time. This time we'll choose a different full image. Choose image. I have a bunch more from my trip. Let's choose, no, let's not choose that one. There. Photo of Prague. Hit upload. Make sure you hit save on the other page, by the way. Hit upload. I haven't done. The very last thing that's going to happen is MAMP, so we're actually going to see it probably update in S3 before we see it update in MAMP. Test, and then it's done. So and then there's no failure, so we should see the file, which we do. And then in MAMP we should see the file. Okay, boom. So there it is. Test, and then the image path, and then the access code. And so the last step is actually creating the file to access it, the PHP file. So what we're going to do is still use the PHP SDK, but now we're going to reach into the bucket and say, okay, see this key and this path to this file? We actually want to take it and get the body of it. And so that's what this gist is about. And so this is actually important. So we're going to call this file get.php. It's going to be inner root, same as everything. And we're going to use this, all this code here. And I don't like the spacing on this. Oh, shoot. Oh. Okay, so the bucket name, we have all this information. Bucket name is, I also recommend putting these, the bucket name and the user and stuff all in a constant. And then I guess you want to ignore that stuff, but this is just, again, a quick demo of this. Put the secret in there. I'm referencing directly because my vendor is actually actually the htdocs folder. So as you can see, C is going to be in the URL, and it's going to be our get, and then we're going to grab it, remove all the slashes and stuff. We need the connection here, which is not there yet. Grab the connection. And what it does here is it looks for S3 files. Is that actually our name? Oh, sweet, I lined them up. S3 files, it looks for the code, which is not valid. It's access code in our database, right? Access code. And if it doesn't find it, and then it doesn't find one, it's an invalid access code, and then it looks for the S3 file path. Sweet, I lined up all these. And then it goes out and grabs this file path and looks for it in the bucket, which is here. It creates an S3 object and then gets the object from the bucket, and then takes the bucket and says echoes the type and then echoes the body. And so this will actually load this page. So if we do localhost 8888 /s3 guide /get.php/ let's just do 12 invalid access code, because it couldn't actually find it in the table. So now what we're going to do is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which was our access code. We hit enter. Bucket is missing. Is missing. Bucket is missing. Bucket is missing. Invalid name. Those don't line up. That guest is broken. I may fix it before you see this video, but save it and then just reload the page. And what it should do is actually either download or open up in Chrome, and it created a get.php file, which doesn't seem right. Downloads. I hope I got this right. Use JPEG. Yeah, so it's the right image. It just has the wrong extension on the end. So now we just got to fix that and the name. PHP. Here, file name. Header, and then what we'll do is make this be again, I may fix this on the actual GIST, but maybe not. And then we'll make it base name, which means grab the very end of the path and key path. And so let's try this again one last time. Reload the page, and this error doesn't help. It's not happening here. And then image 0381 or whatever, and there's the image again. And so what we can do is, if we go like this, invalid access code, there's only one valid access code. To prove that that works, we'll change it in the database and say my name, table, shoot, I didn't set up the table correctly. Why not? Primary key doesn't contain. Okay, it doesn't seem to be working because of my map, but that's the point. So here, that's how you do S3 end-to-end guide for PHP. So that's set up an S3 bucket, that's set up the user and all the permissions, that's upload a file, and then download a file privately via a link. Now, yeah, that's everything. I mean, there's not much more to it. If you like this video, please subscribe. I have a new video every single Wednesday. Please also give this a like. Thanks very much. Just getting the last few things ready before recording this video. But please hit that subscribe down below, because I'd love to stop eating hot dogs for dinner.